at the start of the season, did you have that feeling that got that this is it, this is the year, the championship year for my team?
At the beginning of the season, there's so many things to focus on. That's not one of the things that comes to mind. We got to focus on how to be better, ready for game one and game one of the regular season. And, after every single game, the focus switches to the next game. So we're not thinking that far ahead.
Chet, once you watched the film, where'd you sort of feel like you could have been better, maybe inserted yourself into the game more?
Yeah, I feel like I could have slowed down and, kind of finished some of those plays at the rim. Obviously it hurts in a 1-point loss. One single difference on one single play could have decided the game throughout the whole game. So it puts a magnifying glass on every single instance in the game, and I feel like everybody was kind of feeling that on where they could do better, and we just got to continue to try and clean those up as the series goes on. The Pacers are going to try and do better each game, so we got to do the same.
Did you think would that be the thing you would say, that you were trying to go a little too quick on some of those plays inside? Is that the biggest issue, or is it something else?
I'd say on some of them, too quick. On the ones that involved help side, just kind of slowing down and, understanding where they are is a big thing. Some of the kind of one-on-one plays, I wouldn't say so much slowing down as I'd say kind of just being a little bit more under control, I guess. And there's different ways to do that. So, I just got to continue to try and do that. But above everything else, just, worrying more about impacting the game in all other facets, and kind of just let that take care of itself. And if you just focus on that, you're going to start putting a lot more pressure on that, and then you're not going to be focused on everything else that's important too. So,
Chet, you played one season with Amsterdam, Arctic, Gonzaga, and what did you come to appreciate about him as a teammate, and anything that happened in game one surprised you based on your background with them?
Yeah, obviously, he's my guy, great dude. I have a lot of compliments for him as a basketball player and a person, but we're playing against him right now, so I'm going to hold on to all this.
You guys did a lot of double big, obviously, through the playoffs that didn't in game one. How do you kind of see this matchup and the ability for you guys still to go double big itself?
At the end of the day, us as players, our responsibility is to be ready to execute no matter what the coaches, ask us to do out there. And in game one, that was, to play more single big. And whether the coaches ask us to do that or ask the team to go small or ask the team to go double big, we got to be ready for that and be able to execute it. And, that's just kind of what we focus on.
How do you see the challenge of facing them with two bigs if you do decide to go that?
I mean, it has trade-offs just like anything else. At the end of the day, they're a team that plays with pace, so you have to match that in both directions. They're a team that moves the ball, plays off the catch really well. So again, you have to match that, understand what each player is trying to do, understand what they're trying to do as a team, and it really doesn't change whether we're double big or single big. What you have to execute stays pretty much the same.
How do you deal with the pressure that kind of comes with that you're in a must-win situation now with game number 2?
I wouldn't say it's any different than game one. Game one's a must win. We didn't win, and now we flipped the game two. It's a must win again. And we've been in must win situations in this playoff run. And honestly, in the playoffs, every game feels like a must win. You're not saving anything in the tank for any games down the line. You gotta just lay it all out there.
Chet, what has it been like the last couple of years, just being in this city and seeing the impact this team has in community?
Yeah, it's second to none. It's crazy the impact that sports can have on a city, on kind of the vibe and the mood of the city, things going on around the city. You almost can't drive on a new block without seeing Thunder logo, Thunder flags hanging up from people's balconies. It's kind of crazy to know the support that we have from the people around, and we don't take it for granted. We appreciate it. We appreciate how loud it gets in here every game, and it makes us really want to go out there and kind of represent well, because I feel like we're an extension of them, and they feel the same way. So they kind of they have a certain level of expectation for us in terms of the way we carry ourselves, the way we kind of go out there and try to execute, and going out there and doing all these things doesn't guarantee a win every night. But at the end of the day, we know the city's heart is in it, so we kind of have to have our heart in it at the same time for them. So
What should you do better in game 2 for you?
for me personally, I was kind of just explaining to him, just worry about where I can impact the game, on the defensive end, impact the game without the ball in my hands, and then continue to be aggressive. I feel like I got good looks. I just have to, kind of slow down on some instances, convert those looks, get to 2 feet sometimes, and just kind of, trust that, those looks will go down.
You guys dominated all game long, but what would you say was the key point that caused the turnaround at the end of the game, or maybe the second half?
You really can't sum it up to one thing. Their team made big shots. We didn't convert down the stretch the way we needed to win the game. And you can talk about the end of the game all you want, but throughout the whole game, even early in the game, I had looks that I feel that I should have converted. And if those looks go down early in the game, it's not a 1-point game with 8 seconds left in transition. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just look and put a microscope on the end of the game like that. You have to look at the game as a totality and understand where you can be better and where we have to be better, and that's what we're trying to do.
Chet, obviously with the W big stuff.
Chet, unrelated to the game, who was your favorite player on the team?
Everybody.
Chet.
Quick question. Being one of the youngest teams to ever make the NBA Finals, can you talk a little bit about the camaraderie, a little bit of off the court, how you guys stay so well and connected, obviously being so young in the league?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we're one of the youngest teams in the league, especially ever to be in this position. And with that, we kind of have a lack of going through certain experiences. But that doesn't mean that we have to have like a lack of maturity in how we process and handle different circumstances. Obviously we've seen losses, we've seen tough losses, we've seen blowout losses, we've seen gritty wins. We've kind of seen it all throughout this playoff run and through our time together. So it's really about just sticking together. And then, when you lose a game in the playoffs, it feels like the world's supposed to blow up or something, which is okay to feel that way. But you just have to understand that those emotions don't really tie into winning or losing games unless you let it. It's more about focusing on what you control, how you can be better, and then going out there and doing it together.
Chet, last one, guys. Chet, you mentioned needing to be, or I guess wanting to be better off the ball. That was a blowout next game. Obviously, that's something you've had to work on this year with the double big stuff. How difficult is it to sort of strike that balance of on-ball impact, off-ball impact in a series of this magnitude?
I think the number one thing is just have great intention with it. Every game's going to look different. Some games the ball is going to naturally find me more. Some games, the other team isn't going to play in a way that gives me as many looks. It's just understanding what the game is calling for and trying to execute that and basically doing whatever it takes to win, really.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Lou, just after game 1, being able to go back, watch the film with the guys, what are some of the bigger takeaways in terms of controllables for game 2?
That, they're a good team and they're not going to give up, even though they down by whatever point they're down by. We got to play the full game, and then on our side, really just execute till the end. It's a 48-minute game, and then, to not get losing the score and anything, just, to really finish the game.
Would you like to be the primary defender in front of Caruso?
Say that again.
If you would like to be the first defender for this, I would have liked.
If I would have liked to be on the last shot, oh no, honestly, I mean no, we have a lot of guys that can guard on our team. Cason Wallace is a big one, and you know he's one of the best defenders in the league, and we all felt confident on him being in front of him on that last shot. You know he made a tough shots. Got to give credit to him, but you know Caso did his job for sure.
Hey, Lou, after the game, Mark said that disruptive is the important part of the y'all's defense. Were you guys disruptive enough in the second half?
I would say, yeah, I would say so, yeah. I mean, they're a good team. They did a good job, better job, you know, taking care of the ball. But, you know, the way that we were active, I don't think it has really changed. I don't think that side of the floor was the problem in that game.
You guys forced a lot of turnovers, but weren't as effective as much as converting those points of turnovers. How can you guys improve that towards game two?
Yeah, you know, we got to do better job on that. You know, finding the open man, if it's playing faster, whatever it is, you know, whatever the game is giving us after we turn them over, we gotta go out there and execute that.
Lou, I'm curious to get your take because you guys obviously were an incredibly successful defense all year. You also are a high foul defense, and historically, most teams that are really good defensively normally stay away from fouls. You guys, high foul defense. Orlando was a really good defense this year. High foul defense. It's kind of a trend we're seeing in the league now. What is that balance like in terms of like trying to balance out like, okay, you don't want to foul too much, but it's a result of you guys being aggressive, right? So
yeah.
what is that balance like, especially with you as being the point of attack guy?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think we have too much control over that. I mean, we're gonna play it the way that we do. We're gonna be aggressive. We you know, we gonna play like we do, but at the end of the day, the ref's gonna make the call, and if they feel like it's a foul, they'll do it. You know, we've had a lot of success in that end of the floor, and I don't think it's going to stop based off of what the refs are calling. But if they feel like it's a foul, they'll call it.
Lou, did you notice them change anything in the second half in terms of being able to take care of the ball better, or did you guys just not do as much of the stuff in the first half that you did to get them out of sync and out of rhythm and throwing the ball around the way they did?
I would say a little bit of both. I mean, they took care of the ball, which is, you know, got to give credit to them. They found better shots, the shots that they wanted to shoot. But I don't think our aggressiveness changed that much.
It was a lot of history been made, you and Benedict just being Haitian descent. You just talked about that.
I mean, yeah, we're really proud. We was both born in Canada, yes, but you know our family's from Haiti, and then you know we carry that with a lot of pride. You know what the country of Haiti has been through, and how we got the chance here to represent them in the biggest stage. You know, we're proud to be Haitians.
Depuis le début de la saison, vous êtes toujours très bon après une défaite. Chet a dit que comme la préparation est la même, mais que vous avez une sorte de rage de vaincre supplémentaire. Est-ce que c'est comme ça que tu le vois? Est-ce que tu peux parler de comment le feeling après une défaite? Comment ça se fait que vous êtes ici?
Ouais, c'est sûr. I mean, on n'aime pas ça perdre. On n'aime pas ça perdre, surtout perdre un match comme ça, de cette façon-là. So, on sait que quand on perd un match, on regarde le film et on sait les trucs qu'on peut s'améliorer sur. Puis, yeah, on a quand même une petite rage, on est fâché, puis on n'est pas désespéré, mais comme ça, on est juste vraiment tendu puis fâché après une défaite. Puis quand on sait qu'on peut contrôler beaucoup de choses dans un match, puis perdre comme ça, on sait comment on peut s'améliorer.
Lou, I was wondering what it was like to just be out there with guys like Andrew, Shea, and Ben, like so many Canadians on such a big stage.
It's big. Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time during the summer. I mean, past 2 summers, we worked together, you know, just, you know, training and getting ready for the national team stuff that we've been doing. So, you know, it's good that we're on this stage now, and then next summer, the next World Cup, the next Olympics, we'll be all together and talking about this moment.
Have you had a chance to just reflect on the year you've had, like starting going all the way back to representing Canada at the Olympics, having this amazing run here? Must be kind of surreal.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'll really think about it after this whole thing is done. But you know, it's been a lot of fun basketball this past couple months, and then you know, I'm happy, I'm grateful to be in this position.
So part of what the Phoenix got back was knocking down 3-pointers in that second half. There were 8 of 10 in that left corner. What stands out to you about why that was so available for them in that moment?
I mean, they did a better job reading our defense. You know, some of them was really tough shots, but you know, that's the shot they were looking for. So and they knocked it down. So it's big on their part, but you know, we got to do better.
Ça a été votre plus bas total de la saison pour les assists dans ce match-là. Est-ce que c'est simplement que le ballon ne tombait pas dans le panier? Est-ce que c'est quelque chose que vous ne faisiez pas, quelque chose que les Pacers faisaient? Comment est-ce que tu expliques ça?
Yeah, un petit peu des deux. Un petit peu des deux. C'est sûr que le fait qu'ils ont eu beaucoup de turnover, qu'on aurait dû aller finir de notre côté. Mais un peu des deux. Il y a des bons looks qu'on a reçus, qu'on n'a pas rentré nos shots. Mais you know, on va continuer à jouer comme ça, puis on va trust l'équipe pour rentrer ce genre de shots-là.
From the current roster, who would you say would be in the future the best head coach in the league?
The Canadian coach? Or?
No. From the Thunder roster, who would you say in the future could be the best head coach?
Oh, I would say AC for sure. Alex Caruso. Yeah, he's such a leader. He's vocal. He talks a lot on the court, off the court, and randomly he'll send some in the group text just to talk about anything. And then, you know, he's such a good leader that I would probably say him.
The worst businessman?
The worst businessman. Oh, I can't say any names. I can't say any names, but we as an organization and as a team, we take a lot of pride in the business conversations that we have. So I can't expose nobody, but you know, I got someone in mind. Yeah.
Lou, you've been here longer than most of the guys on the team.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, having watched this team be rebuilt, along with the city kind of being rebuilt at the same time, I wonder if you notice how this fan base is taken back to you guys.
Yeah, you got to be proud and happy for sure. It's been some tough times here for sure, tough seasons. A lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories, and then, you know, we just glad to be in this position to represent this city for sure. I mean, they've done so much for us, and then we love them for that, and we're so happy every time that they cheer for us every game. But, you know, got to be proud to be in this position for sure.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility because this is such a small town and it has, you know, this is the big sport in town?
Yeah. I mean, we mean a lot to them. And we know that we can do something really, really special for the city, for the years that's coming ahead. So, you know, we have our head in the right space, and we know what to do for that. So we keep going, and we'll keep working for that.
Did you and Ben ever have moments years ago talking about, like, that's the stage we want to get at, or this is what we're working towards, or anything?
For sure. I mean, those. I mean, we both we two winners. We want to win, and then. You know, when you get to this point, I mean, you've won a lot of games. So, you know, we had those type of conversation. And then, you know, I'm glad we both in this position right now today.
What do you think about the kids at your camp that Benedict stopped by your campus? What do you think those kids see when they see two people that were in their gym playing for the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I know it's got to be big for them. I mean, obviously, I'll have my camp again this summer, and then, you know, those kids is going to talk about that a lot. But you know, I'm glad that they got to see us up close, and now they're looking at us on TV, and, you know, trying to achieve our goals, and it's huge. I mean, I hope it gives them motivation to keep working hard to try to get to this point one day. But you know, I know they're really happy to watch us right now.
Look, when you let game one go, what kind of person are you with tough losses?
You got to move on, honestly. I mean, there's nothing you can do anymore other than just watch film and learn from it. But I just know that there's a lot of stuff that we learned from watching the film that we did, and then you know, just got to move on and get ready for game two.
Do you feel the city? You guys have, especially on this level, finals and everything. I don't know if you got any vibe going around town yesterday.
I mean, nah. I know they're happy for us and they really believe in us. So you know, we'll keep working on our side to make them proud.
Last question.
Lou, I'm really.
La relation entre la communauté et l'équipe. Il y a le mémorial, cette visite que tous les joueurs doivent faire. Qu'est-ce que vous retenez de cette expérience-là? Est-ce que vous êtes pas américain, vous êtes jeune, vous n'étiez pas né à ce moment-là.
Ouais.
Qu'est-ce que vous retenez vous de ça? Est-ce que ça vous a marqué?
Je retiens beaucoup. I mean, ce truc-là, c'est arrivé le 19 avril. Je ne me rappelle pas quelle année, mais moi, je suis né le 19 avril. puis je sais que ça représente beaucoup pour la ville. C'est sûr qu'à chaque fois que à chaque fois les gens viennent ici, on va faire une visite dans le musée. Mais il y a des vies de beaucoup de personnes qui ont été affectées quand ça s'est passé. Puis nous, d'année en année, l'équipe, l'organisation ici essaie de remonter le moral à la ville. Puis le fait qu'on est vraiment proche d'atteindre le titre, je pense que c'est vraiment bien pour la ville. Puis on est content d'être ici. 95?
Whenever I lose, I'm even more motivated for the next game. How does that feel for your team?
Same, exact same. Nobody likes to lose. We want to win, and especially the way that we lost too. So, we'll be ready for game 2.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Just sweat off my face.
Tells me he has more than one.
Yeah, we'll get them.
The first time that I interviewed a basketball player was you back in 2020. And I asked you about your shoes, and you're still wearing Kobe's.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Yeah, they work for my feet, along with some insoles, obviously. But the 4s, 5s, 6s, like those are the ones that I move the best in, feel the best in, and I like the style of them too. So it's a win-win for me.
Okay. And talking about the game, it is harder for you and your teammates taking good shots when Indiana is playing full court press.
Yeah, I mean their pressure, at least with some of our main guys, is more just to get us out of rhythm. I thought we got pretty good shots, even on some of the attacks early. I was able to get downhill, get layups. And then obviously just flowing into our secondary stuff is probably the area where we can improve a little bit.
Hey, Six, how many of those final few minutes back, the 12-2 run, what'd you take away from those last 3 minutes and change, and how'd you think that this small ball liner could have been better?
You give them credit. They made some big shots, some tough ones. There wasn't too many possessions where I think that we had, maybe execution errors. And then obviously, we missed a couple shots. Shea got some great looks. Some of that probably comes down to not, putting ourselves in a position to where the game comes down to that at the end of the game. Being a little more efficient in transition. Maybe not force it at the rim, playing off 2 feet early in the game, and just spraying the ball a little, getting them behind, and extending that lead from 10, 12 to 17, 18, 20 points, just so if they do throw in shots like they did and we miss, we've had the game in control.
And you sort of mentioned that, hinted at not converting on the turnovers. When you watch those possessions back, like, what's sort of the common thread? Why weren't you guys really scoring after trying to move?
Yeah, I think a couple times we were just a little unlucky. A couple of times they did a good job of getting back. We had turnovers maybe like 93 feet, and it was hard to get the advantage. And then a couple times we just didn't have our greatest advanced pass, cross court pass game, and we almost tried to slow it down a little too much, and instead of kind of matching maybe the pace that Indiana plays out, which we've played at as well, and I think we're good at, and I think we'll do a better job of that.
Now, how many times do you look a game through or the ending through after a game like that? Is it in memories, or do you actually sit and watch it over and over and over again on things you could have done differently?
I mean, you go back and watch film. You have to if you're going to try and improve. So, yeah, we've gone back and watched it as a team a couple times just on different scenarios. I'll go back and watch my minutes personally, like I do for most games, just to see where I can improve and see, how different areas in the game are being affected when I'm on the court. But maybe that night after the game, it's a little hard going to sleep. You're thinking about plays you could have had back that, add up to 1 or 2 points, and there's probably quite a few of them. But after that, you got to flush it. You got to put it back to 0 because the next game's coming.
Were you thinking more points or points you should have taken away? I mean, on defense or offense? What happens there?
It's both. It's, missed a free throw, missed a couple open shots. I messed up a scram with Shea at the end of the third quarter. That's 3 points. Missed a coverage with Hart, or gave up a layup to Matthew. Like, you can go through and add it up for both teams. Depending on who you are and what the scenario is, it's a little bit of everything.
Billy, in Tyrese's last shot, did you think he was going to find Pascal? And is that a situation where are you watching the eyes and the hips and everything? But what, you went with Pascal. Where was your head? Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of playing to I wish I probably would have looked at the clock a little sooner just to see what time it was, because I don't know if he would have been able to get off a pass if I would have gone in, doubled or just ran at him and made the shot harder. So I didn't know if he was going to have enough time to throw a pass to Pascal, and I didn't feel like there was a great deal of, protection behind me at the time, at least enough for him to miss the shot. So I just tried to peel off and go and box him out, because, over my basketball career, I've probably lost more games off second chance shots at the buzzer than, guys making game winners. So just trying to do, my best to keep off the glass, but obviously he's shot working.
Hallie, what have you seen from AJ to get back to this point as a rookie through his injury now to play in the final?
Yeah, it's really admirable. He came out and he was playing really well early. Just a really silent, humble guy that goes out there and has extreme skill in toughness and competitiveness that maybe doesn't show up because he's not yelling, screaming like I do, other players. But to go through that injury and to get back just to be able to play again in this postseason is really impressive, and just the confidence that he has and we have in him to be able to play in important games and use the skills and be the talented guy that he is. He's big.
What does that say about Mark's willingness? I mean, he played 10 guys in the first quarter. AJ comes in beginning in the second, 11th guy. You don't really see rotations get expanded that much in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, he is confidence in our team. We're a good team. We've played guys all year like that. We're going to be true to ourselves. If Mark says, run, we're going to ask how fast, and we're going to go with it and try to do our best to win the game.
What about when you look at defense reduced your guys' ball movement?
Yeah, some of that was self-inflicted. Like I said, we tried to probably force a couple things when, they played good individual defense, and sometimes you got to tip your cap and respect the defense and keep it moving and play the next side. And some of that's schematically, they did a good job of trying to jam people, and then, on a couple drives for our secondary players, they're either denying or staying with Shea and not rotating, and it's kind of up to us to just make better reads and make plays. We've done that. We've been a team that's done that all year, so it's not out of the ordinary for us. We've been a freedom of movement, 5 guys alive, make a play kind of team all year. So I thought we did better as the game went on. In some of that, is go back and watch film and understand from an omniscient point of view of how they're going to play us and know where to attack it.
Hey, Howie, I know that you're competing with Halliburton right now, but the basketball side of you, you've been watching the first 3 rounds, and now it's you. Can you appreciate the run he's on? If you can remove yourself as a competitor away from it, just appreciate the clutch run he's on?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. There's a reason he's been an all-star. There's a reason he was on, Team USA. He's not a bad player. He's a really good player. And I think maybe because of his stature, people overlook or, undermine maybe some of his accomplishments. But, he's an all-star on a team that's in the NBA Finals starting point guard. At least me, I know how good of a player he is. I have respect for that. And obviously, through this run on the playoffs, he's made some big shots and makes some big plays. And that's who he is. He's a competitor. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a good player.
Actually, I don't know if you looked over at the holding the other night, but Chet understandably looked furious. I just wonder how you've seen him digest losses of that nature and what you've seen from him since then.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone through it a couple of times now in the postseason where we've had disappointing games as a team, individuals. But, one thing I think we've done collectively is, hold each other accountable, hold each other to the standard that we need to hold each other to be a great team and to be great players. And we've always responded. And, part of responding is, picking yourself up, chin up, chest out, lining it back up when the ball goes up and competing again. And, that's something that he's been good at, all postseason, let alone, his young career, with the injuries he's had to go through rehabs and to just fight to get back to to play it like Achilles, a broken hip. 1 or 2 of those to any player could injure your career easily, could alter your career easily. And for him to come back and play at the level he's playing at, and maybe even, have games where he doesn't play at his best, but compete to get back to that, that should show you who Chet is as an individual.
Pacers just, kind of the runs that obviously that they've been on,
they just find a lot of you gotta get on like a lot of these teams. Obviously, these two teams. What can you just say about what do you feel like those factors is that make that team so well-rounded for them to be able to do that and respond unlike any team or how it has against the guys?
Yeah, I mean, Denver took us to 7 games. That was a pretty good response that they had a couple times. And, there's some similarities between those two teams as far as just like collective belief and in mindset and desire, like the competitive greatness that they have. Like you saw that in Denver, and obviously they've won championships. So like they've been there and they've done that. But, Indiana has a lot of that. I think our team has a lot of that. That's probably why we're both in the finals. But yeah, I mean, they kind of mirror, their head coach. Like, I don't know Rick Carlisle very well. I know him just a little bit from competing against him and a small conversation moving around, but he's a competitive guy. Like he has that chip on his shoulder. He has that competitive drive, and you can see the rest of their team. Like they've done a good job of picking and putting pieces of people that are like that. And it just have it as a collective group. And like I said, I think we have a lot of that too, and that's probably why we're both in the NBA Finals.
Thank you, guys.
That last shot, did you force Halley to go to the right, or you want just keep in front of him and making difficult shot for him?
I just wanted to make it a little difficult for him. I didn't force him either way. I feel like he, with the time on the clock and, what was going on the floor, I made a nice shot.
That they have had multiple comebacks in these playoffs. Was that something that is in your guys' heads at all, to be aware of how resilient they can be, maybe more than other teams? Or if it were you guys, would you be drawing strength from knowing you can come back?
Yeah, we know that they make comebacks in every series they played in, but we want to be a 48-minute team. That's what we told ourselves, because, we have seen it, and we just didn't want it to happen. So just got to move on.
Cason, was there anything they did that caused you guys to have trouble scoring off the turnovers, and specifically the live ball turnovers that you generally have so much success doing? Or was that just a matter of you guys did take advantage of it and you expect that'll be better in game 2?
Yeah, we just got to take care of it once we get it, capitalize on their mistakes. And yeah, we'll be better at that this next one, man.
The second round, Donovan Mitchell was saying, we know about the Pacers' pace, but it's hard to practice at that pace, so the games kind of caught them off guard. Did you feel like you guys were prepared for that tempo? What kind of challenges did it present you during the game?
Yeah, we play fast too, I want to say. We could play with more pace, and we could play that for a whole game.
There's a stat out there that you guys made 4 passes, and pretty much any team in any game since that sort of tracking data has been out there. Was the ball sticking intentionally, back passing as frequently as they usually do?
No, I mean, that was brought to our attention, in our film session, that we didn't move the ball how we usually do. That could have been a problem that, we'll be better at the next game. We won't make the same mistake twice.
Cason, who of your teammates do you think would be a good basketball coach someday?
Alex Caruso. I tell him that all the time. He plays the game, he thinks the game, and he's also a coach in the game all at the same time. He's always a few steps ahead.
Any other questions for Cason, guys?
What did it mean for you to start that day? I mean, and did you have to prepare any different? Because
no, I didn't prepare any different. I was excited, to start, in the NBA Finals. That's a big opportunity. So I got ready the same way as I usually do.
What's the biggest takeaway from watching film earlier today, and what you guys do well and then want to carry into game 2?
We got to play the whole 48 minutes. We played great the first half, had a little slippage in the second half, but we just gotta stay on it.
Yeah. Thank you, Cason.
Thank you.
There you go.
That's love.
Open for questions.
I don't.
Yes.
How can you describe the difference in intensity level between regular series game and previous playoff game and final series?
Pace, physicality, combination of everything that we've seen throughout the season and to the playoffs up until this point. Obviously, really good team, and like I said, I think everybody knows the pace that they play at, and the physicality doesn't change. Just that combination, makes it different style of play, different games, but nothing we can't handle.
After just going back and being able to watch the film from game one, what are kind of the biggest takeaways in terms of controllables for you guys heading into game two?
Yeah, I think we did a really good job controlling the majority of the game. Late game, some defensive mishaps. Offensively, some missed shots. We got good looks. But for the most part, just kind of small screws that we had to tighten and make sure that, we're kind of keyed in on these things in game two. But we'll be ourselves and stay true to who we are, game in, game out, and hopefully come out with a win.
I mean, your guys' depth has been, I feel like, your superpower all season long. Mark played 10 guys in the first quarter of that game. Just what does that do for this group to have that level of depth that you can roll out there like that?
I think it kind of keeps guys ready. It helps, let our guys know that, at any moment in time, your number could be called, and you want to be ready for that. So everybody's kind of locked in, whether they're on the bench or on the court. You want to be locked in, you want to be ready to go because you never know when, your time to contribute is going to be needed.
Was it difficult to catch sleep after game one?
Oh, yeah. I think for most guys, sleep wasn't the most important thing going to bed that night. Guys were probably up watching film, but we got together the next day and we were able to kind of talk and watch film and get together. But, yeah, after that game, I don't know how much sleep anybody got.
Up to this point in the postseason, the cadence for you guys has been playing every other day, basically. Is it nice now to have a couple of days in between games like this?
Yeah, definitely nice. Obviously, a little bit extra time to kind of recover, make sure you're getting your body taken care of. Gives you more time to kind of study film, get in the gym, and just get prepped for the next game. So definitely good to have a couple days.
And then just wanted to ask you about the crowd. I mean, the finals, it's a whole new feeling. It's a whole new vibe. It's always been loud in this arena, but do you sense anything different there in game one with this crowd?
Yeah. I noticed the entire game, I don't think the crowd sat down. Yeah. That was probably the biggest difference. Felt just a little bit more electric just because obviously it's the finals. So I think everybody's a little bit more in tune with, being on one page. But crowd was electric. They did a good job. Neithan shot again, obviously. Just look forward to coming in here and hopefully being keyed in and taking care of business.
How was the mindset for tomorrow's game?
Being ourselves, being true to who we are, playing team basketball, making sure that we're executing our game plan on both ends of the court, and just putting ourselves in the best position to win the game. All good, beautiful. Good stuff.
Who would you say would be the best head coach in the league from the current roster in the future?
From the current roster in the future, who would be the best head coach? Alex Caruso. He interrupts Coach Mark all the time when we're watching film as a team or, even in our huddles. Probably him. Not him, I say myself.
Who would be the worst businessman?
The worst businessman? I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna do that to my teammate. I don't know. Nah, I'm not. Not Lou. Lou's a real businessman, real good dude. Everybody should tap in with him.
How can you compare the corner three from Ray Allen to the Tyrese Halliburton shot?
The corner three from Ray Allen to the Tyrese Halliburton shot. Shocking shot. Not one that you obviously can plan for or see happening. But basketball, game of basketball, 48-minute game. So possessions happen, and you live and die, get ready for the next one.
What was the first thing the coach said after the game in the locker room after game one?
Playoff series, first to 4 wins. Continue to kind of be grounded, be grateful where we are. We're in the finals. We're not at home. We're not on vacation, and we've got something to compete for. So understanding that kind of gets you back to ground zero, gets you prepared to, get ready for the next game.
Obviously, we're looking forward to game 2, but one moment back to game 1, because was it still even a surprise for you guys? Because for me, do it once is okay, but do it 4 times.
Yeah, what was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one game. Just got to continue to kind of, stay who we are. Obviously, that game was, I thought we were in control for most of it, so shocking the way it ended. But like I said, getting back to ground zero, understanding it's a 4-game series, and we let one slip, but we have more games in front of us.
When you got home, did your family ask you about the result of the game?
I didn't talk about anything after the game. Kind of just sat down and watched film. That's it.
Some games you lose and then you find a little bit like something happens with your confidence. I was talking to some fans after the game and everyone was like, Thunder in 5, Thunder in 5. What is that? How's that in your team?
I mean, no guys lose confidence. Guys feel good, win or loss every game. This is a professional league, and you got to be able to maintain a certain level of confidence to be able to play and compete at this level. And we have all the guys in the room who are the most confident in themselves as they can be, and they're ready to go at any point in time when their number's called. And as a team, unbothered, not haven't lost confidence, not shook to the point where we feel any different than we did going into game. So
you guys forced a lot of turnovers that weren't as effective in converting points off turnovers. How can you guys improve that towards it?
Yeah, just be a little bit smarter with our attacks. Off of steals or misses when we get out in transition and we're running. We've got to be a little bit more just kind of decisive about what we want to do. And I mean that'll be something that we've been good at it all year. We've just got to kind of find that ground. I thought we got some good looks that we didn't make. And at the same time, we've just got to continue to stick to that, be who we are. We're getting steals, we're getting good looks. Continue to just be aggressive and trust ourselves.
Aaron,
Last question.
What kind of work have you seen AJ put in behind the scenes through that injury to get back to this point where now he's playing in the finals?
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy that, kind of similar to how Chet was during his injury. He was trying to find every way possible to make sure that he was, taking care of himself so that when he did return, he returned fully healthy and with all the confidence he could have. Coming back from that injury, he was, great with just making sure he felt good, being in the gym, continuing to take care of his body, and keeping an eye on the injury that he had. So, I mean, his readiness probably hasn't altered. And I mean, for him to be a rookie, getting minutes in the finals, being able to play at this level is huge. So,
Nice.
Thanks,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
Isaiah, just after game one, what was just kind of the overall takeaways after getting a chance to go back and watch the film with the group?
A lot of controllable stuff. I think that was the main thing. We had control over the game most of the game. I think we just kind of let it slip at the end. Again, we missed shots. They made some tough shots too, but again, we can't put ourselves in that position where we're relying on tough shots to go in and then us missing shots that we like. But yeah, I think the takeaway is that we can get a lot better, but we also know we had control over the game most of the time. But they're a great team. They've proven it throughout the playoffs that they can come back from deficits like that. So I think we just have to stay focused and keep the approach.
Hart mentioned the controllables, and after game one, you mentioned you guys that slowed down the pace after the last 6 or 8 minutes or whatever it was. How can you control? How do you feel like you guys can control the pace and play faster when that's something that they do well?
Yeah.
Slow them down.
Yeah, I mean, just it goes back to executing what makes us what we've been good all series. I mean, all playoffs. And so, yeah, it's really just getting back to being us and not trying to slow down or, yeah.
Can you, sorry, are you still in a spot where you can't really believe what happened in game one, or are you already over that?
We're over it. I mean, again, you can only control the present moment. We can't go back. We can't change it. Against Denver, same thing. But again, you learn from it. You see it for what it is, and you don't try to play into the feelings that much. You just go from there.
What will be the biggest difference between game one and tomorrow?
Just coming out executing. I think that's the biggest thing. Just coming out, executing, doing our stuff, but then doing it for 48 minutes. What was your question, bro?
I got a question.
How is Stitch and Elijah getting along now?
See, he got the insider. He got the insiders.
inside scoop here.
They're doing good. Stitch doesn't really like to share his toys, and so they have a little beef every now and then. But yeah, they're good now.
They're good now.
Yeah, that's great journalism right there. That's it.
You, that's what people wanted to know. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Who would be the best head coach here from the current roster in the league in the future?
It's a great question. I think we have a lot of guys. I mean, you go AC. AC is probably top of my mind. A guy I really think could probably be a coach right now.
Who would be the worst businessman?
Businessman? I don't know. I'll say probably.
Be careful.
I know. I gotta think. Businessman. We actually got a lot of like good business dudes. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say Oos. I don't know why Oos, but I can see him not being a great. I don't know, but don't take that.
Let's go back to the game. So, rebounding was an issue for you guys. You know, I mean, you guys are, solid rebounders, protecting the rim. When you watch the movies, the game, what's your reflection? What do you see where do you see the mistakes?
I think it was more just our controllables. Again, I mean, watching the tape, I don't think the rebound really stuck out that much. I think it was how we execute some of our defensive stuff, how we didn't execute down the stretch. And yeah, like I said before, they're a great team. They're here for a reason, and so you can't really let your foot off the gas, kind of like we did at the end. And so, yeah.
You've been the only big on the floor at times this year, but you guys have went to that double big lineup a lot.
Yeah.
Was it a little weird not playing that in game one?
No. I mean, again, we have one of the best coaches in the league, and so we trust what he is, whatever choices he makes. With a winning team, if you want to win a championship, there's going to be sacrifices there, and that's what I'm ready to do. If it's sacrificing minutes or sacrificing what I do in offense or defense, it's whatever the team needs. It's not like you lose confidence because you're playing less minutes. I know I'm still one of the best bigs in the league, but it's just whatever the team needs in that moment, and we have the luxury of having, to me, 7 guys that could start probably on almost any team in the league. And so there's going to be times where there was some series Cason played less, some series Caruso played less, some series I'll play less, some series it's just depending on the matchups. And again, knowing Mark, he's not a guy that's just going to stick with everything. And so you never know what's going to change. So yeah.
Can you talk about the mood in the locker room and practice after game one, after the shot? I mean, from outside it looked like a big shock on everybody.
It's good. I mean, again, we're a good team of staying present. After a game, you're mad. You get over those emotions. And again, those are just feelings, fleeting feelings. The only thing you can really control is like you go to the facts of what you did wrong, how you get better at them. And that's what we're focused on. Again, you can imagine 100 different scenarios in your head, try to make the feelings get worse, but we're just more of like a facts team and just getting better from that.
Isaiah, what's your career high in any game at any level? I'm asking all the guys in the team. Lou said 50. I don't want to see anyone topping that.
Any game, like even when I'm like 12.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, like 70.
No.
Yeah,
You
in Germany.
70 piece?
In Germany, yeah.
At 12
yeah,
years old.
And then after that, my dad had the quarter where I couldn't, I could only pass the ball, but so it went down a little bit. But, so,
Wait, what do you have? The what?
So I had like when I got older, my dad had like a quarter where I was only allowed to pass the ball, and so that's how I worked on my passing. I used to be just like a black hole before he did that. That ball was not. I was not passing that ball. Now I'm more like a pass first guy. So.
And you legit had a 70 piece. Is there tape?
I'm like 12, so I don't know if there's tape for that.
And then one more real quick. If you had to gift any game-worn jersey from your career, from any game to anybody in your life, what jersey would it be from which game, and who would you gift it to?
Was it game last year? Game 2? I think the one against Philly, where I had the offensive rebound. I would give Dante that jersey.
Where's that jersey now?
I don't know where it is. The NBA probably took it, sold it or something. I don't know.
We got to get that back.
Yeah, but I would probably give Dante that jersey. I think it was a cool moment for both of us. I think it was a big offensive rebound, and then he hit a big shot. So I think that was a good moment we had definitely together.
You remember how tall you were at 12?
Probably like 6'5". I don't know. Still tall. I don't know.
As defensively, you guys really swarm the ball. You go for turnovers, and it's super dependent on communication.
Yeah.
When you guys have a communication breakdown in the moment, like any team would,
Yeah.
how do you handle it in the moment? Do you handle it in the moment? Do you wait till the next day? Like, how do you guys figure that stuff out?
I think we're so close together as a team. We can have those hard conversations during the game. I think you handle it during the game. You communicate. We're very open. We don't take anything the wrong way. If someone tells you, "Hey, you need to do better at that," and so I think we do it in the moment. And I think we had some stuff where we miscommunicate throughout the game. And then I think, yeah, you do it in the moment, but then you can really see it the next day what we need to get better at.
Last one right here.
Meine Familie ist eigentlich alle hier. Ich meine, mein Vater, meine Mutter, meine Schwester, die sind alle in Amerika jetzt. Also sind die alle schon. Einer von meinen Freunden kommt vielleicht, aber bis jetzt nur meine Familie jetzt hier. Du bist hier, also das ist alles gut. Huh?
No Joel questions today.
Hey. Yeah, I meditate. I think that's a big thing for me, is just meditating, getting in the present moment. I'll visualize. I think that's a big thing for me, visualizing what I'm kind of going to do during the game, kind of who I'm playing against, and those are probably my main ones.
Thanks, guys.
No Joel questions. You happy?
I know.
Here we go.
Yeah, you ready?
Take two.
First game under the belt. I mean, how's the experience been so far?
Shoot, it's been good. I mean, obviously, fell short first game, but coach says all the time, like, there's no place we'd rather be than be here in the finals. So get an opportunity to compete for a championship. But being in this, you don't take any of these moments for granted. It's fun. It's fun. You're playing basketball in June. Everybody that's in the NBA wishes that they're playing basketball in June, and we're here.
With the mindset that you have going into games, when it comes to taking shots other than threes and trying to throw the teams off to them not knowing what you're about to do, like that, your first bucket dribbled off the line and got a pull-up jumper. Doing that when you don't know like the minutes you're going to be playing, and not saying Mark's not open with the minutes or anything, but just, what does it take to get into that mindset of just forgetting about coming into a game and saying, yeah, I'm just here to be a shooter, and doing some other things?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still playing to win, still trying to play the right brand of basketball. This is a game of reaction, read and react, and just taking what the defense gives you. Always keeping the main thing, but not getting consumed with the minutes that are available, or the role that I play whenever I'm out there on the floor, just trying to win any way possible.
I heard talked about you guys slowing down the pace the last 8 or 9 minutes of the game. Felt like that would turn the game for them.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you felt like you guys could do a little bit better to continue to play at a high pace, but have the advantage when they like to play at a high pace?
I think just keeping that aggressive mentality that got us to the point of where we're leading the game, playing our brand of basketball no matter the score, and playing for all 48 minutes. I think we left a lot on the table there, especially late in the game. We just kind of got away from ourselves, but just being ourselves and playing our brand of basketball for the whole 48 minutes.
Isaiah, what's your career high in any game at any level? I want to see which Thunder player has the most ever.
45, high school, senior year.
You're right there. Lou has a 50-piece. You think he has the most of all time, or no? Out of any of the Thunder guys? You think anyone top 50?
I feel like maybe somebody like, dang, 50, that's a lot of points.
No.
I feel
low 40s.
Low 40s. I feel like somebody maybe like Wiggins may have like a sleeper, high scoring. Yeah.
Low-key 50 double nickel?
Maybe, but to say somebody has more than Lou, that'd be kind of crazy right now, because 50 points is a lot of points at any level. Yeah.
And then one more real quick. If you could gift a game-worn jersey from any game throughout your career to anybody, what game would it be from, and who would you gift it to? We're getting deep.
That's a crazy question to just get. I feel like I need a lot of thought that goes into that one.
You have 8 minutes.
I have 8 minutes.
I'm kidding.
We got places to be.
I'm kidding.
Man.
One that stands out.
I mean, hopefully after it's all said and done, we can close this thing out and I'll give my game worn jersey to my mom.
Good answer.
Isaiah, who would you say from the current roster would be the best head coach in the future?
Probably Alex. Yeah.
And who would be the worst businessman?
The worst businessman? I'm Dylan Jones.
Isaiah, just what do you remember about this crowd 2 nights ago? Obviously, the finals atmosphere. This crowd has been loud all season long, but what was it like in the building for you guys?
I mean, our crowd, they're the best. I mean, they're always energetic. We feel the energy throughout the whole game. It's the best out there. I mean, you can't do this without them. It wouldn't be as enjoyable if you weren't playing for others, and the joy that everybody else gets for what comes with the game and the excitement and everything that leads up to it. In OKC, we have diehard fans that are all homegrown and down to earth people, and they just want to enjoy a good game no matter the outcome. They show love regardless, and I think I cherish that for the rest of my life. Yeah.
And the depth of this team has always been like one of its superpowers, but Mark played 10 guys in the first quarter. I mean, like, you were out there. What does that say about this group? How valuable is it to have that for this team?
Very valuable. It's something that we've done all season. You never know when your number's going to get called. You never know if we're going to play 10, 12, 15. Anybody is valuable on our team and, able to get their number called at any moment. AJ, hasn't played much in the season, hasn't played, much in the playoffs, but he's always ready when his number gets called. You can tell when he's out there, he plays with confidence, and that goes with everybody else as well. I think it just keeps us versatile.
What did you see from the AJ minutes?
I liked the way he's moving, his confidence. He didn't make his shots yesterday, but last game, but he played the game as though he was in a rhythm and like it was any other game, and that's all I like to see.
Part of the game that you didn't feel comfortable, like took you off your pace or something like that in the last game?
Yeah, late in the game, whenever they started chipping away, I think we just got away from ourselves and slowed the pace down too much. We weren't as aggressive offensively or defensively. I think we had some brain lapses where we just kind of, gifted them a few things, and that led to that outcome that it had. But as long as if we can just play for 48 minutes, play our brand of basketball, not gift them, possessions and not leave our possessions open, then I think we'll be all right.
Do one more. Did you, after, of course, watching the movies, seeing the mistakes and the good things that you guys did, but how in the court, how disappointed were you guys missing this opportunity?
I mean, it's disappointing, especially at first, but we believe that we grow through every experience. We watch film and we learn and we move on to the next game. It's the first of 4, so we understand that. And I think we've done a really good job all season. Anytime we would take a loss, it hurt at first, but then we did a good job of turning it around and just moving on to the next game, to the next task.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.